What's going on, my guys? It's Corey from Lion Dads, back with a video for you guys. Before we get started on this video, I want you guys to go to lion-dads.com, www.lion-dads.com, link down in the description of this video, and I want you to get your free PDF on getting started with the carnivore diet, okay? It's got everything you guys need in there to get started, start losing weight right now. It's got a shopping list, all the tips and tricks that I have to at least get started and get it going and try to lose like 20 pounds in your first couple months or so, okay? So moving on from that, let's get into the video. Today, what I want to talk to you guys about is productivity. I want to talk to you guys about why I think it's important for men, important for dads to stay productive, be productive, to keep themselves busy, to keep themselves creating, to keep themselves doing things for the betterment of themselves and for others, and how that affects you. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different positive effects that being productive has on your own self, for your own well-being, and for the well-being of others. And that's what we're kind of just going to get into today, and what happens when you're not productive, right? And what it means when you're not productive. So the first thing I want to get into with productivity is the mental health aspect of it, right? I think there's definitely a link between, productivity and mental health. There's like a sense of purpose that you can have when you're always building and you're always creating and you're always trying to do better by the world and by yourself and by other people. I think a lot of guys get into this trap where they go through the normal grind where they find an easy cake-ass job and they're working at it, and then they go home and they don't do anything. You know what I mean? And you see a lot of those guys end up with depression. You see a lot of those guys end up with like the anxiety, and they're getting out of shape. There's a whole correlation between all this stuff. They're not accomplishing anything. They're not making themselves better. They're not learning. And I think it's kind of just hardwired into us as men that we need to always be productive for the betterment of our mental health. You know what I mean? If you're going through the motions of life, you're not doing anything, you're just remaining stagnant, then you're going home, you're fucking off, you're playing video games, whatever it is, you're going to find that the problems in your life are going to compound. You're not working on your health, your body. You're not working on not getting any knowledge or anything like that. What's that going to do to your self-worth? What's that you're going to do to your self-esteem, right? What's that going to do to your mental health? Is it going to make you feel good to know that you're going through the motions of life? Is it going to make you feel good to know that you didn't do shit today? You know what I mean? Now, once in a while, having a day where it's like, man, I'm just going to chill out and relax, that's fine. You know what I mean? We all have those days or whatever. But when you're just like constantly in life, not going through the motions and not doing anything and not leveling up and not getting better, you're going to hear leveling a lot. If you're new to my channel, you're going to hear about leveling up. That's what I'm always talking about. As a man, as a dad, as a member of this, as somebody inhabiting this earth, I just want to be somebody who's always constantly trying to get better and level up and do better by himself and by his family and everybody else. That's why I go on a weight loss journey. That's why I lift so much. That's why I'm always I'm reading a book. I read a book a week. That's why I do all these things, is I'm trying to get better at everything in life. You know what I mean? That's why I'm taking the negative stuff in my life and working on cutting it out of my life. I've cut out so many things in my life the past 10 years. I cut out video games. The last 4 or 5 years, I've cut out, processed, sugary, seed oil laden, carb-filled foods, and I eat, an animal-based diet now. These are all ways that I'm trying to improve myself and improve my well-being. And it all starts up here. It all starts with my mental health. It all starts with keeping myself sharp and creative and, not focusing on the negatives in my life and being depressed and things like that. So staying mental, that's another thing it comes with, is staying engaged. When you have things going on in life and you're being productive, it keeps you sharp. It keeps you mentally engaged, and it keeps your brain working and exercising, and it's keeping negative thoughts out of your mind. That's not to say that you're not going to make mistakes and you shouldn't have any stress. There's different kinds of stress, right? There's positive stress, there's negative stress. You should be stressing yourself out a little bit. You should be building something as you level up in life, and you should be thinking about the big picture and putting pressure on yourself. But those are things that are positive, because they're going to make you work, and they're going to make you do things and accomplish things that you didn't even know were possible. And that is ultimately going to lead you down a path to where you feel better and you have a better mental health state and things of that nature. So that's the first part of this I wanted to get into, is the effect of productivity on your mental health, which I think is, really the first place it starts and the first place it needs to start. Because if you're in a good state mentally, it'll help you in all the other areas of your life. So that's the first place you need to connect with your productivity and start fixing in your life. Second thing is your physical health, right? Having an active lifestyle, being productive. Some people call it hard work. I just call it keeping yourself sharp, keeping yourself in shape and active. Whether that's, if that involves you working out, that's fine. That's definitely optimal and awesome. I recommend every man, every dad that watches my channel be working out, be exercising, be lifting, doing resistance training. Find a measure of cardio, a kind of cardio that you enjoy, an activity, whether that's like me, I cannot jump on, people think of cardio is jumping on a treadmill and grinding out 3 miles. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to do it. My knees can't do it anymore anyway. You know what I mean? I've had years of military behind me that jacked me up, and I'm not running, but I enjoy swimming. I enjoy hitting a heavy bag, and these are different things I can do to keep myself getting cardio in, and it keeps me getting staying in shape and things like that. It keeps me productive. I go down, I lift, I get so much. It leads to other aspects of the mental health thing, where I come up with ideas, I solve problems. I sit down there, no phone. I have a little gym in my basement, no phone, no TV, no nothing. I'm down there, just me, my thoughts, working out. And while I'm working out my body, I'm working out my problems. You know what I mean? Just developing these habits of staying active, and then staying active with your family and people that you care about, getting them out and getting them involved and getting them hiking, getting them running around, doing things with you. Finding activities that you guys can do together that keep you in shape and keep you active and keep you healthy. And you'll find that you're talking a lot during these activities too. You're starting to see how everything kind of interconnects, right? These different dynamics and things like that interconnect, and they bleed into each other. Your productivity, when you do these things, they kind of bleed together, and they, it becomes you becoming an overall more well-rounded, productive person. And a productive person is a person of value. That's the thing that I want you guys to take from this the most, is becoming a person of value. And I'm telling you, a guy that's just sitting on his ass and not doing anything, and not being productive and not being creative and not learning and not leveling up in life is nobody of value. You know what I mean? At least on a surface level. I'm sure you may, have value in yourself and things like that, and things that you do value. But if you're just sitting around being a slug in life, then what are you providing? What kind of value are you providing? Not saying that you owe anybody anything, but it's something you need to think about. Am I providing value to the people that rely on me? If you have a wife, if you have kids, what favors are you doing them by not getting better in life and not leveling yourself up? So moving into, we kind of touched on the family value, the family dynamics of it all, and those kind of things. It's important for a man to positively influence his family, right? That's if you want to undertake having a wife and having kids and things like that, it is your job, literally, to set that example, to set the tone. You are the leader in your household. There may be a bunch of feminists are going to come from my head about that shit, and I don't care. That's the way I view it, and that's the way I live my life, and maybe you agree, and maybe you don't. But that's the way it is. In my world, that's the way it is. I look at myself, I'm the leader of the house. I'm the person that they need to look to. If everything falls to shit and everything falls apart, you know whose shoulders it's on? It's mine. That's the way, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm not asking for poor me. This isn't a pity party thing. I wouldn't have it any other way, because I trust myself, because I am always leveling up and I'm always learning and I'm always getting better. You know, and like 10 years ago, I wasn't that guy. Maybe I wasn't even quite that guy. I've always looked at myself that way, but I wasn't living it. You know, and when I was fat and out of shape and going to a job that I hated and coming home and cracking a beer open the second I walk in the door and plopping my ass down on the couch and turning on SportsCenter, I wasn't living that life. In my own head, maybe I was, but in reality, I wasn't that guy. You know, I wasn't the guy reading a book. I went almost like, you know, it's a shame because I was a huge reader when I was a kid and I loved learning and stuff. I went through a good probably 10-year period of my life where I didn't crack a book at all. Never once. Now, you know, my challenge every year is a book a week, you know, 52 books a year. And I'm doing it, you know what I mean? I do it every year. It's awesome. So that's one thing I want to, you know, challenge you guys to do is like, look at your life and say, am I living it? Am I living this way? Am I setting that example for the people? Or am I coming home, I'm showing my family that it's okay to be fat. It's okay to be out of shape. It's okay to hate your job. Come home and bitch about your boss and bitch about a customer at work that was an asshole. Eat some shitty food, drink a beer, and just let your life be absorbed by sports or video games or whatever the next Netflix show is or whatever bullshit you do. I'm not saying don't do things that you enjoy. I'm not saying don't have hobbies. I'm not saying don't watch football on TV. I'm not saying don't once in a while when you got some time and you want to relieve some stress and you just want to do something you enjoy, play a video game or watch a movie or watch a show with your wife or whatever it is. I'm not saying don't do that stuff. But what I am saying is make sure that you are doing things that serve you and allow you to serve the people that rely on you and depend on you and come to you in times of need and need you to, you know, put their problems on their shoulders. You know, the people under you in your house, your wife, your kids, whatever it is, they need you. You know what I mean? And when you're drunk at home and you're fat and you can't do anything, and you're depressed and you don't feel good and you're not productive, how are you serving? How are you going to help them? How are you going to help those people? You know what I mean? Or are you better equipped to help them when you're dialed in and you're productive and you've been learning a lot and you're working out and you're in tip-top physical shape? You know what I mean? And you're always mentally sharp and you're not, you know, you're not feeling sluggish. That's just the things you need to think about. You know what I mean? Balance those two things out. Think what's better? What's better for me? What's better for my kids and the people that rely on me? You know what I mean? So another thing I want to talk to you guys about is like burnout. So I think there's a lot of people that worry that they're going to get overstressed, they're going to get overtaxed. You know what I mean? That you can be too productive. And I'm not saying be so productive that like I don't have anything going on. I'm going to go randomly dig a ditch in my backyard or some shit that doesn't need to be there. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about only doing things for the sake of just doing things. Make sure that you have a reason to be doing things. Make sure that you're productive and that there's an end game, there's a strategy, there's a goal in mind. Like I said, I read 52 books a year. Sometimes it's tough. It's tough to get that in. You know what I mean? I have to find, creative times. I maybe have to get up a little early to finish one out. I balance it by sometimes reading a longer book and then following it up with like a really short book that I can read in a day. You know what I mean? But I make sure I always get that in. But I'm not trying to do it I'm not going to read some crap that it doesn't serve me just for the sake of saying I hit that goal. I want to have a reason to do it. I want to gain something from it. I need to make sure that I'm learning something, like that there's something I can take away from it. Every activity I do to be productive, whether it's a workout or some kind of work, developing something for Lion Dads here, making a video, coming up with a product or whatever, there has to be some end goal in mind. There has to be some reason I'm doing something. I'm not just going to do random shit for the sake of doing random shit, right? Otherwise, you are going to experience burnout. You're going to be doing stuff just for the sake of productivity, you're going to see no end result. There's no gain from it. There's nothing you did to get better. Nothing, you just did something just to do something. And it's not going to feel fulfilling because you don't see the fruits of your labor, right? And that's where burnout does happen. I think men really do need to be productive. I think of the health, the mental health, the physical, damage that you're doing to yourself by not being productive. I think a productive man, there's scientific studies, the more productive you are, the more physically active you are, you're going to make more testosterone. That's better for your health. It's going to, increase your longevity. The working out is going to make you stronger. It's going to make your bones stronger, your muscles stronger, make your heart stronger, your organs stronger, cut the fat off you. It's going to make you live longer. That's my goal in life in general, is longevity. I want to walk my daughter down the aisle. I want to watch my sons walk their daughter down the aisle. You know what I mean? These are things that are important to me. And so, I think being productive goes a long way in keeping me healthy and keeping my longevity, goals that I have, reality, So that's stuff I want you guys to think about, these positive effects that having productivity has on you. But like I said, don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Don't just do shit for the sake of doing shit. Do stuff so that you have an accomplishment you can fall back on, you can point to and say, look, I did that. I made this happen. I'm better because of it. My family's better because of it. My community's better because of it, whatever it is. You know what I mean? I've built this. I built the business from the ground up, or whatever it is. So those are some examples of the things you can do to be productive. Obviously, the working out, building something, taking a skill that you have and monetizing it and creating a business out of it. We all have them. I don't know how much I can preach that on here. We all have skills and we all have abilities and things that can provide value to other people's lives, that people will pay you to give to them and make their lives better. And it's just, these are things I want you guys to think about, and the effects they'll have on your life, the positive effects that being productive will have on your life. And that's basically what I'm going to leave you guys with today. As a reminder, like I said, go down to www.lion-dad.com, link down in the description, get your free PDF, get started losing weight, start shedding those pounds, start feeling better, start getting active, start getting productive, and start leveling your life up. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.